Okay, on today's show, if you're a professional rugby player in Ireland, we discuss the secret to earning 100 grand extra a year.
How Barry Murphy named his new daughter after an undead murdering doll.
We discuss Ireland's thrilling win over Italy.
And how, since the All Blacks have now become crap, how every team in World Rugby thinks they've got a chance at winning the World Cup.
Joe presents Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby, together with Guinness.
Hello and welcome back to Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby here on Joe, together with Guinness. I'm here with the ever-present and reliable Jerry Flannery, not like your ex-colleague Barry Murphy.
Yeah, the baby maker.
He didn't make it. Barry's twins are less than a week old. He says, I'll not be able to make it, but twins are less than a week old. I mean, next week they'll be less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, oh, they're in ICU.
Stop. Where does it end?
Yeah, I know. ICU.
Yeah, anyway. Get your finger out. We'll see you back in Dublin very soon. But we'll give you a quick twin update. We can provide you with the names of Baz's troublesome twins. Not Boris and Teresa. No. Not Rog and Strings. Not even Greg and Amber. They're called Michael and Annabelle. So congratulations on Michael and Annabelle being less than a week old. Annabelle's named after the horror movie where the freaky doll comes to life and kills everyone. Michael's named after Michael Jackson. Sorry for that. What?
Only a week old, huh?
Yeah.
Can't even stick up for themselves.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, enough about Baz and his twins. Hopefully we'll see him next week. But
His freaky doll.
Rugby's back. Did you miss it?
No, I was aware that the rugby was back. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because from what you were saying last week, I've got this impression of you as you're this like perfect dad, and you take your kids swimming and like you take your kids swimming and to the park, and you take them out for ice cream all Saturday. I imagine you're like
yeah, I'd imagine
you're like Father Jack, like frolicking around the field with bunny rabbits at the weekend. Is that you now? Is the perfect model dad?
No,
Don't get to watch any rugby.
I spent most of the time watching the rugby over the weekend, trying to get up to speed for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids were neglected as a result.
Oh, brilliant!
But
Brilliant.
my missus was there to help with them. So.
Yeah.
And you?
I was suckling at the corporate teat on Saturday.
Oh. Okay.
I was at a Vodafone gig at the game.
Who did you suckle?
I was suckling Donica.
Oh.
And Donica was suckling me.
And who was watching?
All Vodafone corporates.
Oh.
It was pretty weird.
Well,
They were disappointed.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah. So Donica is. It doesn't come as a surprise. I think we've seen Donica in action on the bus for years on tour. They were eating out of the palm of his hand, loving everything he said. Like, he was up there just drinking it in. They were loving every second. And he would ask me a question, and there'd be like here we go with Trimble.
Here's the religious freak back in again
Exactly.
with his Bible.
They were like, just answer the questions yourself, Donica. But yeah, it was. He was actually brilliant at that gig. I'd seen him for the first time doing. You've obviously probably seen it a bit yourself with Donica doing the kids show.
No, I haven't seen his kids show. No.
Oh really?
No.
I assumed it was quite high profile down here. I don't watch much RTE at home.
No. He's such a nice guy that it's hard to slag him. Like he actually moved house, and there was like an old man I heard this story from someone, and they said there was an old man walking along with shopping bags, and Donica pulled his car in, got out, helped the old man carry his bags up to his house, and then said, if you ever need me, give me a shout, and then jumped back into his car, drove off. And then Donica came back the next day, called into the old man's house, gave him his phone number and said, how you doing? I'm Donica Callahan. I live around the corner. If you ever need a hand, give me a call.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's so perfect. He's sickeningly perfect.
Gives us all a bad name.
Yeah, he does. Although, he did tell me at the weekend, he moved to Worcester when his kid was 3 weeks old.
Oh, Jason the Queen Shilling taking the soup.
Yeah, not so perfect anymore.
That's why he's an O'Callaghan.
Huh?
He's.
What?
I'm trying to remember. Is it you're an O when you take the soup, aren't you?
Oh, is that what it is?
I think it is, yeah.
Oh, when you get
thing.
rich, like when you sell out.
If you start taking the Queen shilling,
Uh-huh.
it's generally the people who, when Ireland was starving, the people who went and took the soup were generally called like O'Callaghan.
I'm going to start frantically Googling this thing.
Yeah.
Check it out. I could be dramatically wrong.
Yeah, so anyway, so we did that Vodafone gig, and afterwards we got Jordan Larmour, Luke McGrath, and Geordie Murphy up. Luke was telling me, I find this interesting, he was saying they've been doing, what did you call it again? Where they compress
Occlusion training.
He was telling me about the occlusion training, where they tie off your muscles, and he said they were putting on black bin liners as well to kind of replicate Japan.
The humidity.
I find that interesting because with so much sports science and so much analytics, sorry, excuse me, and then they just stick a black bin liner in, guys.
Yeah.
It's strange that there's not more thought that's gone into it, is it not?
Sometimes the simple stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was like
Because Rocky was doing that in 1976 for his first movie.
it worked for him, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, I think you see a lot of people trying to do it. Like I used to see when I first came into Munster, some of the players used to go in their full kit and just sit in the sauna. Like this was back in 2003, but like you get guys in full kit sitting in the sauna trying to lose weight.
Do you lose? Are you not just dehydrating when you do that?
Yeah.
You're not actually burning any fat.
No.
Because Strings did a few of these Instagram stories where he was like doing monologues to the camera for his Instagram story in the sauna.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you're just getting dehydrated. You're going to give yourself a headache. They're not burning any fat there, are they?
I don't know. Strings looks like he's burned plenty of fat, man. He's in outrageous nick, man.
Yeah. Do you remember back in the day, Connacht used to have to run around in the car park?
Yeah, the story, Connacht had some S&C coach who was ex-South African military, I think. I could be getting this wrong. And he said that their thing for pre-season is that they would always be on the move. So whenever the players came to training, they would have to jog from their car into the clubhouse, get changed, jog. They would have to be constantly moving, so that if they were standing waiting, they'd have to jog on the spot. I remember going to national camp and just thinking,
how did they do that season?
I'm not sure. That's not the year they won the league, anyway.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, if that had been successful, then we would all be jogging around the car park.
Yeah.
That would be the
This
magic
worked out
formula.
way better when we were laughing about it so much earlier.
Yeah. So they're going to Portugal then tomorrow?
Yeah. It's going to be good. Get them out there. Hopefully get Joey's ankle okay.
Oh, poor Joey. Joe was putting a positive spin on it.
Yeah, he seemed a bit upset coming off the field.
Yeah.
But they said they scanned it, said there was no break.
Yeah, and all the insensitive photographers were rushing to get the one photo that mattered.
Yeah, picture of him like that, holding his eyes. But I suppose all the stuff that goes through your head, when you get an injury like that, he's probably thinking like, if you think of it, they've only got 3 more chances now to actually push in, because I don't think once the competition gets going, I don't think that the pecking order is going to change massively.
Yeah.
I think he's got an idea. So for Joey, he probably viewed like, if I play well here, if I play well, if I can get on against England, if Johnny starts, I can start putting a bit of pressure on there. That's probably where he's thinking, like he doesn't want to go out there a second choice. And he played phenomenally.
Yeah.
And then to get something like that, then he may not get a chance in the next couple of games now.
Yeah.
So it'll just, that window of being able to change the coach's mind is just closing for him.
So you think Joey would be more concerned about becoming first choice rather than solidifying his second choice?
To me,
So I just think Johnny is so, like, Carbery was incredible before he went off.
Yeah.
He didn't put a foot wrong. He was brilliant. I just always think Johnny's Johnny, and Joe absolutely loves him. Drico talked about this, I think, recently, and he was saying, like, it's a shame almost that no matter how well Carbery plays, but it's always going to be Sexton. Is always going to be Joe's go-to, is it not?
Johnny is going to be the number one guy there, but Joey, wouldn't have moved to Munster if he was just happy to play second choice. So he wants to play 10 more regularly. He wants to develop as the guy who runs the team. So when he gets an opportunity there, he's trying to make things harder and harder and close the gap.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Johnny Sexton's going to be number one going into
To be
the
fair,
World
it
Cup.
doesn't happen overnight. It was the same thing whenever Johnny took over from Raj.
Yeah.
He didn't just say, go on ahead there. He was kind of, as you said, making that decision harder and harder over the course of the season.
Just chipping away, chipping away, probably like building trust with the coach.
Yeah.
I thought Joey was phenomenal.
He was class.
Phenomenal.
He was brilliant.
And he was the team just looked so fluid with him in there. I just like to see him getting back on the field, and you know, Ireland could benefit from having him and Johnny on the pitch at the same time. That would be a really exciting option.
Yeah. Oh, Johnny to 12.
No, I think
Joey at 15.
Joey could be an option at 15 as well. You know, like at the moment, the out and out 15 choices that Ireland have are Rob Kearney, who's obviously the nailed on number 115.
Yeah.
After that, then I thought Jordan played pretty well at the weekend. We didn't get to see any of the stuff that he's renowned for, you know, breaking the line, but to counter that, we didn't see any stuff that he wasn't really tested like with a lot of aerially. There wasn't a huge test on him.
Yeah.
Defensively, I don't think he had any major lapses either. So I didn't feel he was fully tested there, but he did pretty well. So he's probably in as your second choice 15. But I think that having Joey as an option, we discussed it on the last show, having Joey as an option to come in and give you that second playmaker, so you can play both sides of the ruck is really exciting.
Yeah. Another thing that Joe mentioned in the press conference afterwards, he was talking about, actually he talked for quite a while, but he was talking about the 31-man squad and how it's going to be tricky for them moving forward with a 6-day turnaround and then another 6-day turnaround, is it? I think
6 days and 5 days.
6 days and then 5 days.
Yeah.
So I mean, he wasn't saying poor Ross. He was saying this is the same for everyone, but it's going to be tricky. It's obviously easier last time around. It's an hour's flight to get guys across there, but I mean, a 31-man squad. Do you think that's tight? Do you think that's?
Well, that's the way they've structured it. It just means that for.
But has it been a 31-man squad since the start of the World Cup? Like,
I think it might have even been less at the very
do you know
start.
what I mean? Because there's way more. Well, if it's less, then that makes sense, I suppose. Because the game's way more physical now. There's way more injuries now, so maybe that needs to keep up. I suppose that's probably the point that Joe's making. I suppose.
Yeah, I think the key thing for Ireland is to build through the next 3 games and just win that Scottish game. They've obviously got to win their other games after that, but they can afford to maybe not be at full strength going into Russia, going into Japan, and going into Samoa.
Yeah.
But they need the Scottish game is going to be the main one for them. So and they can afford to freshen up going in and then hopefully be in a good state then going in for the quarter final. It is a challenge, I think that the under-20s World Cup, the amount of injuries at the under-20s World Cup this year was phenomenal.
Oh, really?
Ireland. They went out there and they had a real strong squad, and they just decimated with injuries because of the short turnaround of games all the time. And I remember they were having to play guys out of position, and it's something that they have to look into if they're gonna try and condense the tournaments into a short period. Then they've either got to increase the amount of players. But the short turnarounds are alright. The players just get beaten up too much.
It was 29 in 1995. The first time it was kind of professional, wasn't it? The World Cup, actually professional after that, wasn't it? But so it must be. I think it's because remember props used to be able to switch over, so they've added props to the squad.
Oh,
I think is the big thing, but not that much of a change considering it's such a kind of brutal game now.
Well. To go from 1995 to now.
Yeah.
I've got a soup update as well, actually.
Oh.
Apparently, this is Irish immigrants who are over in England. You would actually have to give up your O if you wanted to take the soup. So
Give up the O.
Yeah, so if O'Callaghan's ancestors had taken the soup, then would have just been Callaghan.
So if he was Donegal Callaghan, then he would have
taken
been
the soup.
Okay.
Oh, so he didn't take the soup.
Well, he did take the soup because he went across and played with Worcester, but he didn't. His ancestors didn't take the soup. So Donegal went against what his ancestors would have done.
So he is. He's a terrible human being after all.
He's a little soup suckler.
Yeah, suckling at the soup teat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got part 2 coming up, but A lot of you joined into the Facebook group. Am I right, Pat?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
Got a lot of joy there. Not us, though.
No, not yet.
Forgot all about it, if I'm honest. So it's great to be interacting with some of you in the Facebook group. So make sure and leave us a rating as well. So we'd like to be in touch a little bit more. But before part 2, we just intro that with a little bit of a Jack Conan snippet. Pat, you were on it, and were you?
Yeah, he dropped in here during the week, and so we're going to put that out as a bonus episode. So yeah, just give you a little taster of it. It was around that time where just as you were kind of even getting your first taste of being with Ireland as well, a lot of the talk then became around like CJ Stander because he was just becoming Irish qualified. But it was after a Heineken Cup game, and you spoke very well about it and said, listen, he's been here long enough, he's kind of satisfied all the rules, he's qualified, and he is of a standard, and if he gets in ahead of us, we're doing something wrong. We have to lift our own standards. It was very good to have a current player coming out and say something like that as well. And is that what that kind of thing, like for someone like CJ, especially that number 8 jersey as well, is he's someone that you often then said, okay, well listen, if he's playing at the standard, I have to up my game again, even though I'm playing for Leinster regularly. If I want to play for Ireland, I have to up it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was after Montpellier at home. We just won and got asked, what I thought of it, and I stand by what I said there in those statements. And CJ's gone on and played so many times in green and he's had a fantastic career so far, and he's been a great servant. But yeah, he raised the bar a little bit. Probably in a different mould than Jamie was, in a different mould than I am as well. So I don't like to compare us too much because I don't think we have overly similar styles. CJ's probably a bit more direct than I am, but look, he's been the kind of stand-in number 8 for Ireland for the last few years, and he's dominated that position. And only in the last few months through injury did I get an opportunity to play. Obviously, when he took that knock to the face, and now I think I've come to an age and I've put in the performance that I'm instead of kind of having to buy my time. I think the time is now, and have the opportunity to challenge him. But as you said earlier, CJ and myself we've both slotted into the back row together and played on the same pitch on the same day. So it's something that can be done. I think it's benefited Ireland at times in the past. Whether it was that last test in Australia last year, we went on to get that famous win, or even not as famously the last day against Wales, we were both on the park when we finished up along with Pete. So I'm not saying that will happen, but it's definitely something that could happen, and we think we have that balance between us where we get a good all-rounded back row.
Okay, welcome back to part 2, where we will be getting a little bit more nerdy than we would naturally get. Am I right, Fla?
Little bit more.
Little bit nerdy. So what was your thoughts then? Who stood out for you?
Joey is obviously the standout guy until he went off. I thought he was phenomenal. I thought everything he did, even when he was taking the ball like relatively off medium to slow ball, he was still taking it so flat, taking it right to the line.
Yeah, he just looks really comfortable. It just looks really easy to him. Or, it's only really been the last season where he started to get some established kind of game time at 10, and it looks like it's done him the world of good. He just looks really, really happy until he didn't look
until he was injured, and then he was a bit upset. But yeah, he was excellent. He was top class, and it's really exciting to see that for Ireland, because he's just to have someone there who's such a threat, and he's not even your first choice 10. Yeah. I thought Conway was excellent. Airily, I think in the first half particularly, apart from maybe the first exit, I thought he was like to be able to run onto the ball. Like, it's one thing to be receiving it where you can come forward and get up, but to be running onto the ball from the open side wing and to be able to take the ball like that.
Those are always nice ones as a right winger, to kind of blindside the guy that you're competing with when the ball's coming there, and you can see him, you can see the ball, and he can the GA style one he plucked out of the air. Did he take? Might have took 3. Definitely 2 anyway.
He definitely took 2, and I think he competed on 1, and I think Chris Farrell won the scraps on the ground. But it's something that he works on non-stop.
Yeah.
And I remember chatting to Felix Jones, did an awful lot of work with him with Munster with it, and myself and Felix would come off, we'd watch games from Munster and you'd see Conway would make takes like that. And then you'd see that he's always doing it after training. Yeah. And I was like, this is why.
Well, what a coincidence.
No, but
to the rest of the squad.
If you could go to the other guys in the squad, say, listen, if you want to put another 50 or 100 grand on your contract, pick something that no one else in the team can do and just practice that like crazy, because that's what Conway's doing. Conway is potentially one of the best players in the world in the air. Yeah. And it's I would never. I didn't know an awful lot about it, but I'd be interested to see how people train those skills.
I think it's actually a bit of a Munster thing. Darren Sweetenham's very good in the air as well.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a GA background, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he's a hurling, is he?
Cork hurling, yeah.
Cork hurling, yeah. Well,
Earlsy's pretty good in the air.
Yeah, Earlsy's decent. Shane Daly is pretty good as well. But a lot of it is down to just training it. And Felix says the main thing is to actually get up and get into the contest.
Yeah.
Like, you actually physically have to get up and launch yourself. Not get underneath the ball and go straight up, because then you lose momentum, but to come at the ball at a 45-degree angle and get up into the air and get into the contest.
I was with Donica, and I think it was the one that he plucked out of the air, 2 hands, and then so we got the ball back, and then Joey got the ball in his hands off that right hand side, and Donica goes to me, okay, well, we regathered a high ball. And he goes, but sure, where does it really get you? And he's making the point that you're only maybe 5 meters, 10 meters tops further up the field for an unbelievable bit of skill. Fast forward 5 seconds, Joey puts a wee dink through, Carney puts his foot to it, we nearly score in the corner.
Yeah.
The timing was perfect.
I was looking at it at the way Ireland are exiting, and I just know that with us, like when Ireland played England this year in the Six Nations, and say they receive the ball in the restart and they carry just outside the 22. If they're just trying to kick a box then off Conor Murray, it's so much more of a static exit, and England can see what's coming. They can start dropping players into the backfield, and then they can identify who they've got to escort on the way back and create that escort wall in front of the English receiver so he can win the ball. But when they were moving the ball, like where they'd carry, then play a pot of forwards, and then go out and play Joey, the Italian defence had to come up to defend the run, and then they just launched that ball.
Yeah.
And Joey's
the Italian winger that's under it, he's static, because you can't sit deeper, because if you sit deeper, then you'll get left behind the defensive line if they run. So you got to get up, and then you're static. You're underneath the ball, and I'm not saying it's easy for Conway, but it's easier. It's an easier battle to win, to get on top of someone who's standing still. Whereas if you box kick, then the defending winger, the receiving winger can sit back wherever you want. You're not going to get stuck under the ball, as Conway did a few times receiving as well. It's a way easier battle to win, I think. Leinster did that in the past, actually, with Lukey Fitz used to do that all the time. We did it to Tommy a few times. It's a really good way of getting out of your 22 and keeping all options open. It's and the more the players are actually adept at plucking the ball out of the air rather than that. I remember I listened to one of your previous shows last season where you talked about you used to get pissed off that cheaters
will go up with one hand and slap it back in field, which is probably risky on an exit because you're leaving ball bounce around there. But I saw how effective Saracens are at with it. And it's mainly because they get such a good kick chase line that they have players who are positioned. So like you're saying, if it's the right winger coming up and you're static and he can jump, he can get himself into the contest, get momentum forward, and then slap the ball back in field, you should have players coming through in it.
Yeah, as we did with Farrell as well.
Yeah.
Which brings me on to my next point. I thought Farrell was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I thought the centre partnership, I don't think they've played together before. Farrell's only played 13, isn't that right?
Yeah.
So playing out of position, I thought he was unbelievably good. Thought Ringrose was brilliant. Again, that's not a surprise. He's always brilliant, to be fair. But it's the first time I've thought that 12-13 combination could potentially be the one. Although I know you've got Bundy and you've got Henshaw. Henshaw typically is nailed on. Bundy could potentially, he's played plenty of rugby in the centre for Ireland, but it's the first time I thought that Farrell and Ringrose combination could work really well.
Yeah.
That's maybe one of the reasons why Joey looks so comfortable, because he had Farrell trucking it up outside him. And
if you're looking around, you're like, oh, there's not much on here, and just go, here, carry that. And one of the sort of things that I see with Chris Farrell is everyone talks about it. It's almost like a cliche. It's like when Peter talks about Peter Crouch and they say, oh, he's actually got a really good touch for a big man.
Yeah.
Chris Farrell is incredibly skillful player, incredibly skillful. But sometimes you just want him to say, listen, they have to defend you here. You just carry the ball and you're going to take in 3 defenders. You're going to interest 3 defenders, which creates space. But he showed that little pullback pass that he played in the 22 for Joey. You know, he's so skillful. It's getting the mix right between being physical and
it must be tempting for him because everybody looks at him and he's enormous. So he goes, I'm not just enormous.
Yeah.
It must be so tempting for him always to want to show the piece of skill that you maybe can't naturally see.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you may be skillful, but you're still 110 kilos. Run at that hole, and that'll be more beneficial to us.
It's probably you're probably taking some of the options out for him when you move him into 12 because he's going to be carrying the ball in a lot more traffic there. Whereas at 13, he's there's a little. It's always going to be on from a little bit more an outside break or potentially to rip that pass. Whereas at 12, it's not always going to be. There's going to be more traffic generally in around there, so that might take advantage of his physicality. But look, it just means that Ireland have got 4 centres now that they can bring to the World Cup who can all play inside and outside.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned Will Addison, who we're a big fan of, and he's a big fan of us.
You have a bit of a boner for him already.
We do, yeah.
Noticed,
Yeah. We're pitching tent for.
Yeah,
Addison.
he's quality as well. I think he's carrying a knock. He's
But his back was giving him bother there at the start of the summer.
Yeah.
He was brought in, I assume, because he was brought in, then he was good to go. He'll get some game time, obviously. If he goes well, then he could kind of.
Can he cover 12? He's played 13 against Munster, and I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, I don't think he can cover 12, but he can play 15 as well. And he can play 15 very well. Anyway, he got plenty of joy in 15 for Ulster this year, last year.
We'll see. There's 3 more games.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough push for him, but versatility, I think that's something that, besides just playing well, Chris Farrell showing he can play well at 12 as well.
Yeah.
Because he's proven himself at 13. I think it bodes well.
Yeah. What about it was the narrative before the game was Klein versus Byrne. Was that settled for you, or are they too different to compare? Well, they're obviously competing for the same space, I suppose.
I don't know if that's the narrative. I think on the positive side, I thought Jean played well. He is going to be definitely the most physical forward Ireland would have if he does go to the World Cup, because if we ended up playing someone like the Box in the quarter final, he'd be a great guy to have there because he's so physical. But yeah, give me a second. The point is that like he's not going to push James Ryan out, and he's not going to push Devin Toner out. So if you're bringing John, you kind of almost want him to be in your team. So I'm not really sure. I thought he played really well. He adds massive ballast in the scrum as a tight head lock. Maldy wasn't great at the weekend as a whole from the team, but Jean is one of the best maul stoppers you'll come across. So he's really good in all those tight areas. Tig then gives you the versatility that he can call in the line out, plus he can play in the back row, and he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal in turnovers, which you saw at the weekend.
Yeah, I thought whenever Byrne came on, it looked like he had a point to make, and he came on and made 2 turnovers out of nothing in 15 minutes. And it just looked like he went, well, this guy's enormous, but look what I can do. I suppose just whenever you're saying there about if you're playing against South Africa, you need a bit of physicality. You need someone to someone to bully. But surely, would you not say that if you're playing against South Africa, if you're going to be direct and physical and confrontational, that's the way they play, and they're going to do that better than anyone. So is that not an argument to say, let's bring a bit more mobility, throw the ball about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you need to be able to match them to a degree. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that you try and play the same way South Africa. Like, Ireland should have more football and more rugby nous in their team than South Africa. But there's a level of physicality that they have to match to be able to play.
Yeah.
And if you're just losing collisions, you saw when Ireland played England this year, when we lose collisions, it's very hard to get back on the back foot or to get on the front foot.
Yeah. So
I think from that point of view, I think that if Ireland can match him, like James Ryan has been phenomenal for Ireland. I think it's going to be interesting to see what way the next 3 games pan out, and if Jean keeps playing the way he is, and if Ty keeps playing the way he is, I don't know if they'll bring 5 locks. I think they're going to bring Henderson because he can cover back row.
Yeah.
Because he's he's a phenomenal ball carrier. He can call in the line out. Toner is obviously probably the first choice guy there because he's calling.
Yeah.
James Ryan because he's James Ryan. And then who did they bring after that? Tyg Byrne gives you versatility to play in the back row as well. Jean could go as well.
Yeah.
But Jean is very much a tight head lock. And if you're going to bring someone who's such a specialist, you'd nearly want them in your team.
Yeah, I got you.
But I think it's just that it's happened so late. If it was last season, I think Jean would build, and he could push to get in there.
I think most people forgot that he was going to be Irish qualifier when he qualified on Thursday, 2 days before the first game. He's like, oh yeah, your man.
He's
that big enormous mutant second row from
I saw when Pat sent on the quotes, something that Joe picked out about Jean is that Jean has the ability to go and actually move bodies. Like when playing with Munster, when you'd analyse the game back, you just see there'd be a breakdown there where the ball might look like it's not clean there, and then Jean Klein just comes in, and at the time he's probably 125 kilos, just hits the thing and just shifts the entire breakdown, and the ball is there clean as a whistle. He's improved massively since he's come over. He's a clever guy.
Yeah, and then obviously a little bit of versatility in the front row with Portishead moving to Loosehead. Loosehead. Sorry.
I thought the scrum was real strong in the first half. Porter gave a really good that corner, that right shoulder corner for the tight head, and that gave Jean Klein a kind of a platform to express power through onto the Italians. Very rugby nerdy.
Express power through the Italians.
Yeah. But
can we use that as a promo? I
think they won. They won 4 penalties. The second half, then when Porter went across, so Porter had a real strong performance there. I thought Jack McGrath did well as well.
Jack McGrath was wrecking boys in the scrum at the start, was he not?
But the problem is that the current pecking order, as I see it, is Cian Healy at Loosehead as one, and then Dave Kilcoyne in behind him, and then Jack McGrath is probably the third choice Loosehead there. They've probably got Furlong and then either Porter or Ryan in second or third, but they can, if they're going to bring 5 props, they can't bring 3 looseheads, and they can't move one of the looseheads across to cover tight head. They've got to bring 3 specialist tight heads and one of them that can cover loosehead. I thought when Porter went across, I think he lost shape a couple of times. So it's a big ask for a guy to play both sides when he's not playing there regularly. So will they continue with that, or will they try John Ryan? Jean Ryan. Will they try Jean?
He'd be good.
Jean Ryan.
No, he's versatile.
Yeah. Will they move him across and try him at loosehead and see if he could be the guy that's going to cover both sides? It looks like they're pitching for Porter at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, that'll lead us nicely and tidily into a Porter audio.
Okay.
Obviously, it's something that Joe's looking at. You're versatile. You can switch over. And so, how do you think you went in your new position?
I was like, a bit rusty in it again. Like I haven't played a game at Loosehead in, I think since, I don't know how long, about 2 years. So like it's something I'd be looking to work on to kind of be as versatile as I can. Like if need to be over in Japan, hopefully if I get picked. So it's something I'll be really looking to push forward in the next few weeks.
Does that old school muscle memory come back?
Small bit. Still a bit stiff now from it. Like the neck is a bit stiffer than it would be usually after a game. But so hopefully I'll get more used to it again. Like and keep working and training. So yeah.
When you made the switch initially, did you always feel though like that there'd be a chance you get to play there again? Because when it comes to tournaments like the World Cup, it's invaluable to coaches.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's always been something kind of coaches kind of going over with me. Like if needs be, I could slot in there. So that's why it's so important now that I kind of get my reps and training in games like these where I get like in a test game. So it's very important like that. So.
Okay, so with Carbery struggling and maybe not going to get that much game time between now and the World Cup, assuming that he gets fit for the World Cup, should we play Sexton less because Sexton's even more important to us now? Should we wrap him in cotton wool?
No, that's
as they say.
Yeah, the wrap him in cotton wool thing is bullshit. Like you hear
that's
that.
overused. What does that? That's not. That's just
that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can definitely you can play smart and say you need to get Johnny Sexton is the best player in the world, So you need to get game time into him to get him up to speed. You can't just expect him to not give him any game time and for him to, be firing on all cylinders going into the Scottish game. So they're going to have to play him. They might just be smart about how much they use him, but he has to play. And hopefully Joey is back and can take some of the pressure off him, because Joey, I think, is clearly the second choice. But he has to play. He has to play.
Yeah. So if Johnny starts one of the next 3 games, would that be enough?
I don't think so, really. No, I think he's got to play more regularly. I think he definitely needs 2 starts.
Cardi now needs to start though, just in case something happens to Marmion or Ross Byrne.
Cardi needs to start in case something happens to Marmion.
In case something happens to Carbery, sorry.
Well, something has happened to Carbery. Were you watching the show? Were you watching the game at the weekend? Hopefully Joey is fit to play again before the end.
Yeah.
If not, then it's going to be. Hopefully he's fit and Joey will get more game time before the World Cup starts. But in the meantime, Sexton has to get game time, and then Carty can come off the bench and pick some up in there. But I don't think Carty's going to jump.
I think Carty has to start one of the next 3 games. Oh, sorry, Carty or Ross Byrne, whoever Joe's third choice is. I would assume it's Carty, but I don't know. I think
Carty
whoever it is, whoever he decides is his third choice at the minute, needs to start one of the next 3 games.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because if Joey doesn't make it, and then something happens to Johnny, then whoever it is straight in with no game time.
Yeah, it's a fair enough point.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Right, we've got a Joe audio on Johnny, yes?
Yeah, you spoke about that, and just about, as you said, the idea of who goes to Portugal as well. And it was funny because, in the press conference, he's initially dismissed that, he's like, no, our plans are our plans. But then he actually kind of admitted, they actually might have a look at it.
Our plans are our plans, or are they? Well, they are and they aren't.
So, we can hear that now.
The good news is Joey, there's no fracture. It's a bit puffy on the inside of his left ankle. We're going to give that 24 to 48 hours just for the swelling to go down, and if we need to get a picture of it, we will. Obviously, he's had an X-ray and been cleared of a fracture, so that's the good news on Joey. We don't have anyone else who's of major concern. First game of the season. There's a few lung injuries, guys who couldn't get enough oxygen in, and one particularly that Reece suffered when he got hit quite hard after giving a scoring pass that he didn't really get a good look at, but Joey Carbery certainly enjoyed the end of it. So we're hopefully relatively unscathed, but Joey obviously will take 24 to 48 hours to know for sure.
Joe, if Joey Carbery's out for a few weeks, does that change your thinking around how much game time Johnny Sexton gets in the next 3 games?
Not really. I think we'll forge ahead with probably the plan we've mapped out already. And to be honest, we don't get back together until Wednesday after this game, so it gives us enough time to have a bit more clarity about Joey, and then you're right, we may adjust our plans. But we know we've got to hit the ground running. We know how big a game Scotland is in the first game of the World Cup, and so we can't really afford to have anyone underdone going into that game either.
Okay, so we're back and we're chatting back row. Did anybody there do themselves any favours or do themselves any harm, in your opinion?
It's difficult. I don't think there's any guy was head and shoulders above the others. I thought going into it, if you're looking at it from the point of view that the first choice back row is more than likely going to be Peter O'Mahony at 6, CJ at 8, and Van der Fleer at 7. It's looking at what layers they're going to have below that, and from that point of view, I think Jordy Murphy's probably got his versatility probably puts him in pole position. I thought Tommy O'Donnell, I know he's versatile from when he played with Munster, from playing with Munster, that he can cover all the 3 roles, but he probably hasn't done it at international level. I thought he played well at the weekend. I thought Rhys Ruddock, that little pullback pass that opened up the space for Ringrose to get that pass away on the edge for the try. I think it was for Carney, wasn't it? I thought that was, you know, he showed a good awareness and good footballing skills there, and Jordy Murphy, obviously his versatility, scored a try, couple of turnovers during the game which were unfortunate, but I think that I'm not really sure. Honestly, I don't think any of them really put their hand up to say that that's the guy who's going.
Yeah. There's a lot of trust with Jordy though. I think Joe has established, you know, a lot of trust there. He's gone to him a good few times, and Jordy's typically never let him down. And as you say, he plays 6, 7 and 8, yeah.
Yeah.
So he can play 6, 7 and 8. Reece can play 6 and 7. Tommy, I know he has versatility and he's done it for Munster, but he hasn't.
He hasn't. Yeah, I think he's only played 7 for.
Even though he went really well, I thought.
Yeah. I think when you look at it, if you look at Joe seems to be a fan of guys who win collisions all the time, and from that point of view, I think Van der Fleer is his only real out and out 7. Now CJ has played 7 for Munster. Peter Manny started the Australian test down there. He started at 7. But I think outside of Van der Fleer, then he's going to look at, okay, well, if I don't have a real specialist 7 there, who am I going to put in? And it's probably going to be someone who's going to be a collision winner. So that could open it for Reece there. You know, Reece can win collisions.
Yeah.
But I think there's just got to be more rugby played. I don't see which guy's out and out the standout guy there.
Yeah, grand. Okay, right. We'll move on. We'll chat about the rugby championship at the weekend. I think New Zealand getting beat fairly convincingly by Australia. And obviously then the draw to South Africa last week, and both South Africa and Australia both are going really well, or maybe it's just a drop in standard from New Zealand, but it looks like the whole World Cup is kind of wide open at the minute. Wales were unofficially the world number 1 for, 12 hours? 24 hours?
Don't know.
Yeah, and then England beat them this afternoon, only a couple of hours ago, so we're not really up to speed in that game, but what was your thoughts on the Australia-New Zealand game?
It was. I thought Australia were really, really good. I thought Australia's. I thought their front 5 was the difference between the two teams. I think I had a look on some of the. I think they had 63 carries between the 5 of them in the game. I think like Rory Arnold, Latu, the hooker. I don't know whether they were anxious about their set piece going into the game, but they had real good variety. They did a lot of 4-man lineouts, which is going to make it a lot easier to win the ball, you know, when they were in the New Zealand half looking to attack them, and real good variation in their game. And when the front 5 are getting through that amount of work, I think Latu had 12 carries. I think Rada had 12 carries. You know, they had 63 carries between them. I think they had 30 carries more than the New Zealand front 5. It just created this. It frees up the likes of Hooper to be like an extra attacker out in wider channels. Yeah. And I think it gave Nick White a really good platform then, and I thought he was outstanding. He was class.
So obviously they got their tails up. They had more carries in general. They had more possession in general. But I mean, it was the red card. That was the only reason there was more space. Surely. What was your thoughts on the red card?
I thought it was a red card because I think it's unfortunate.
Did you hear what Greenwood said?
No.
Greenwood said he was critical of Garces. He thought it wasn't a red card. That he said the language Garces used, I think he said he was hiding behind the laws.
Yeah,
which is strange.
I think you see the problem is that what's a red card now, what the referees are being told is a red card now, compared to when we played, it was absolutely not a red card.
We played. Well, it was only a year ago.
but it's progressing that quickly. Like on the under-20s World Cup, I saw Irish lads getting yellows and reds for stuff that I was like, oh, that would have been grand. That would have been fine a few years ago.
That would have been complimented.
Yeah. But I think it was the fact that Barrett actually didn't seem to actually even try and wrap. He almost tucked his shoulder and then drove in. And
but sometimes it looks like. I agree with you. It looks a wee bit ugly. It looks a bit untidy, and it looks a bit like he's meaning to do damage. Yeah. Just because he's tucking it. But then there's maybe no place for his arm to go if he wraps it. It was.
Yeah. Well, look, it's shots like that to the head that ends up shortening people's careers, and I think it's difficult now. But
As a father yourself, it's not what people always say.
as
is
a
it?
father,
as a
yourself.
father myself.
No,
as a priest yourself.
So there's just got to be. I think that there's going to be a lot more yellow and red cards, and I think that in this World Cup, I think that a lot of the teams have got to put a focus on the ability to carry low and to actually tackle effectively low, because there's going to be, whenever I saw a red card in the past, it was always because some guy took off his boot and ran around the field and started hacking someone in the head. It was always like, for
which
foul
is still
play,
illegal
for foul play. But now it's a lot more for being reckless or mistimed tackles, those kind of things. And
yes, it's now, and what people have said up until recently, and still a little bit recently, there's no malice intended, or there's no intention there, or no, you know what I mean? He's not meaning to do any damage, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, because if you're being careless, then you're putting out someone else at risk.
And as well, if there is any ambiguity in the law, any grey area, we say like, no, I didn't mean it. You can make it look like you didn't mean it, but you really wanted to hurt someone. You know. So I think that taking it out, I think it was a red card.
Yeah, they're trialing to deal with obviously the head collisions and concussions and stuff. They're trialing a new law in Australia, Pat.
Yes, club rugby in Australia,
to where you're not allowed to tackle above the hips.
Yeah.
How do you think that'll go? Good luck with that.
yeah, I'm not really sure. When they said the nipple height, I was like, this is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
You're trying to work out, like coming into contact to drop your nipples as low as you can. But they have to do something to mitigate all the concussions and stuff like that, because it's for the game to go forward.
Yeah. And what about it? It's, the case of someone with unorthodoxly positioned nipples.
Yeah. That's something that they're going to have to look at as well.
Didn't think of that one. World Rugby, did you?
No. So who do you know that has unorthodoxly positioned nipples? Baz.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's retired, so it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. He's just got his little...
Michael
Jackson.
He'll get Baz's nipples.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure where they're going to go with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we're going to go with this.
No, we just leave...
Eddie Jones was actually talking at the end of the England-Wales game about that Scott Barrett red card. He said here, I thought it was ridiculous, mate. I urge World Rugby, even though they don't do anything at great pace, to get more consistency in that area. But then somebody else pointed out that Eddie Jones and Paul O'Connell were both on a panel that recommended you start giving guys yellows and reds and it'll change how they tackle. So what does he want?
But I think Eddie Jones is right that they're not consistent. Garces is the one that always gets a hard time, but he is the one who's often consistent.
Yeah.
And he's like pretty brutal as well.
Crack out your Garces fact there.
Yeah, the one that you fed to me half an hour ago. Garces has issued as many red cards to the All Blacks as the entire referee population combined.
That's an amazing stat.
Is it? Were you there when I heard it?
I
didn't understand it.
I read it, but it's if you put yourself in a referee's point of view, like he starts off the season and next minute something else. He's given a new. This is how you got to critique this situation now. It's different to what it was last year. So they've got to find their way through it. Like it's shit, because when someone gets sent off, like the game, as well as Australia were playing, the game was really tight. But then the minute Barrett went off, he said, "Oh shit! Well, Australia playing well. Now it's 15 versus 14. It's difficult to see New Zealand having any real chance in this game."
Yeah.
So it does. It ruins.
It's not Garces ruining the game though.
No, but it's just the game has to move towards something that's going to be sustainable and a little bit safer.
Yeah.
So, and people are going to get pissed off at decisions, but you just have to be human. Just there's going to be a human nature to it as well, where people are trying to work out what's and he has to do it on a split second. And I think that if Barrett hadn't tucked, I think you could probably say, oh, maybe that was just maybe.
I think you're right. If he hadn't tucked, it wouldn't have looked as nasty.
Yeah.
And if he had gone here, even if he connected in the forearm or on the bicep, I still think I'd rather get tackled by someone's bicep than their shoulder. You know what I mean? Like that's going to do more damage than that if it's not wrapped. Am I right?
I don't know. Yeah.
I would have thought so. Anyway, Sammy Karevi was tearing it up.
Carbery and Carbery. Is it Carbery? That's how you pronounce it. That winger.
Carbery, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I think Carbery at the moment is probably the best 12 in
He's
World
on
Rugby.
fire,
He's
isn't he?
just been phenomenal. He wins collisions, can get his hands free, and he can hit as well. Indeed,
Yeah.
he's in really good place going into the World Cup now.
Yeah. Perfect timing from Christian Lillifano getting back in the mix when his front five are going unbelievably well, and he's got a 12 that's going well, and Corviati.
Yeah.
Vianetta. Corviati.
Vianetta, yeah.
There's a lot going right for him. His team have got their tail up, and he's kicking well, and he's distributing well, and it's a nice wee story. Obviously, he made a big impact with Ulster, so a lot of the Ulster boys are delighted to see him go well, but it's like he just picked up where he left off.
A good guy.
Great fella.
Yeah.
Great fella.
Good laugh.
Good laugh. Slotted in seamlessly. He made a big impact. He was there for 6 months, and he was everybody's best mate by the end of it.
Is he a family?
Yeah. He's got one young fella called Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Biblical names.
so when he was over, was there any talk of him extending his stay beyond when he was there? Because
There were rumours now. I don't know if it was realistic or not, but then he left January, February time to play Super Rugby.
yeah.
I know he said he only wanted to go home if he thought there was a chance he was going to play for Australia. What's the story with Bernard Jackman, Pat? Do you know? Or sorry, Bernard Foley. Bernard Jackman playing 10 for Australia.
He's coming in for a bit of coaching or something. Foley's got picked up an injury, has he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lillifano might have done enough to keep him out, although Foley's handy enough. But so anyway, so he went back to play Super Rugby in January, February time. Finished off Europe for us, and then went back. And then there was chat that he might have come back the following season.
When he was in the mix for the Wallabies, then.
I don't know if he. That was a year ago, so I'm not sure he played any.
No, but when there was talk of him being back in the mix for the
Yeah.
Wallabies, he said he'd stay and pursue that.
Yeah, he must have fancied his chances to get back in the mix for the World Cup, and obviously made the right decision.
So far, so good anyway.
Yeah.
For him,
Yeah.
I think Foley will be back now, I'd say, for the next Bledisloe game, maybe even on the bench or something.
Yeah, okay. And then James O'Connor's back as well. At one stage, he started playing when he was 17, Pat.
Yeah.
He looked like he was gonna just kick on and just it was just gonna be the easiest career ever. And then obviously things started going wrong for him. But he's back now. He went well, 13.
Yeah.
He's out of position there at 13, I think, a little bit, but
He's played 10 for them. He's played 15. He's played wing.
I think he started in the wing. He played 10 against the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenally talented fella. Just trying to get his head straight, so he's not on the piss too much or anything like that. It seems to be the key for him. But when he gets that right, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, he's
grown
well.
up.
Anyway, so we'll leave it there for part 2. Part 3 is going to feature a new piece called Black and White. We'll explain the rules in part 3. Okay, Fla, it's time to play Black or White. As you know, the pint of Guinness is the perfect opportunity to get together with friends and just unwind. But on this occasion, Black and White might split the House of Rugby into two. So open your envelope there, and we're going to have a nice little debate. There's going to be a statement in your envelope. You're going to agree with that statement. I'm going to disagree. 60 seconds each.
Okay, so mine says, I am for that Joe Schmidt needs a semi-final or better to have been a real success here. You're going to argue against it, correct?
Yes.
You want to go first or will I?
I'll go first. It's fine. Joe Schmidt has done everything he possibly can to put Irish rugby on the map. He's won a Grand Slam. He's won 2 championships. He has adopted homeless orphans all over the country. Do you know his house is riddled with orphans?
Riddled with them. Go on.
Yeah. He has been an absolute saint since he arrived. If he gets beat by Scotland, Japan, and whoever else is in Ireland's group, doesn't matter, he will still leave Ireland with his head held high.
Okay, well, I think that's bullshit, because the whole reason that Joe Schmidt was brought over here by the IRFU, he got his time in Leinster to get himself settled in here, to get understanding of Ireland. But the whole focus of him was coming to this World Cup to get to a semi-final. That's the very least he can do. He was given all the amenities that someone needs to flourish in their job. He was given drinking water. He was given food. His family were fed. They had a house.
Water, like
house. They
in Tala. He lived in Tala.
There was education provided for his kids. He was given access to all of the best players in the country. He was given access to gyms,
access to orphans,
rugby balls, cones, the whole lot, everything. And he built, to be fair to him, he built along by winning Grand Slams and winning European Cups with Leinster and winning the championships with Ireland. But it's all towards this, and he's been given everything. He's been given a fancy Carbery RFU.
What does he drive? What car?
I think it's probably a Mondeo or else a Volkswagen or something like that.
10 seconds.
And he's probably been given loads of other stuff like nice clothes, and we want results
Not
now.
nice clothes. Okay.
Pat, who won?
Well, it was comprehensive. And as much as he is riddled with orphans, you were comprehensively beaten there. It was embarrassing to even sit there and look at it. So, Jerry, on behalf of Barry, you have won this week. You've drawn it level. And you can just stick that up on the board.
Lovely. One for Baz.
One for Baz. We'll dedicate that pint of Guinness to baby Annabelle.
And baby Michael.
Yeah.
Jackson.
To a lesser extent. Okay, thank you very much for joining us on today's show.
Thanks for everyone involved in making the show, to Diarmid, to Paul, to Pat, Andrew.
This has been Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby on Joe, together with Guinness.